Willkommen zum Reinsurance Podcast, live aus Baden-Baden. Wir sind hier für die jährliche Rückversicherungskonferenz, wo sich führende Mitglieder der Branche versammeln, um über die neuesten Trends, Herausforderungen und Innovationen zu sprechen. Bleiben Sie dran für exklusive Einblicke direkt von der Konferenz.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Baden-Baden edition of the Reinsurance Podcast here in 2025, and the weather is reflecting the Baden-Baden conditions. Delighted to have Martin here with us. How are you, Martin?
Yeah, good. Yeah, a little bit moist in the air, isn't it? But yeah, not totally unexpected.
No, indeed. It's what it makes it feel like Baden when you're surrounded by thunderstorms at all times and trying to do reinsurance deals. And so, Martin, you're here as an expert perspective on the African market, which is quite a big cohort who come here to Baden-Baden. So tell us all about Africa Specialty Risks and what Baden means for you.
So Baden's one of our important platforms in terms of reinsurance, both as an outwards purchaser, but also looking at markets who need capacity. So for us, we've been coming here in as ASR for the last 5 years. It's very exciting. We normally have a very good contingent of teams here because, the numbers of meetings you got to cover and everything. So for us, it's about spreading the message of Africa and how we want to grow the capacity in the African market, but there's also working with our stakeholders in terms of trying to provide solutions as well. So we wear a couple of different hats depending on which conversation we're having. Yeah,
very interesting. And I'm sure everybody's a bit sick and tired of hearing about the global trends and whether we're past the peak and softening and so on. What's the more specific outlook, I guess, for your markets?
Yeah, and I think for us, we do spend a lot of time trying to, I guess, differentiate ourselves from those global discussions. Yeah. When you're looking at global catastrophes, there is limited global capacity, and of course everybody has to pay their contribution to that. But what we try to stress always is that as an African market, we shouldn't be overpaying our part of the contribution.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very much. Some markets try and sweep everything up as international, so you're either sort of US or you're international, and we try to bring it down to a next level and be a little bit more focused and go, no, Africa does behave differently, and that should then be respected and looked at accordingly.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And so I guess, what are the key conversations or discussions specific to the African market at the moment? What are the trends there?
I think for us, if you look at the last couple of years, across Africa, there's probably been more elections in the last 2 or 3 years than at any other time. So always post-election, there's hopefully more stability, more investment coming in. So the opportunities there around, obviously, political risk, trade credit, construction, operational, means that, again, as the investors come in, we look to help out and look to protect those investments. I think one of the big discussions, again, that we're having is around sort of parametric products as well, which we believe for developing markets is one of the most powerful insurance products that you can supply. So we're really trying to drive the narrative around that as well and support all our other lines of business.
That's really exciting, especially as parametrics has been a big theme here recently as well. And I guess to some extent that's been enabled by new technologies and data and so on. Is that a thing you're seeing change in the market? Is it the same as it's been for the last 20 years, or are we seeing change?
And that's a good question. I think the use of more science and technology makes the product a lot more bespoke. It allows the underwriting to be a lot clearer, and obviously when you're doing the adjustments, it's a lot more focused rather than just doing sort of individual crop cuts or random cuts. You can use technology now to drive not only your underwriting decision making, but also the adjustments at the back end as well. So it's definitely helping.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So I guess looking forwards, we're now in October, as we can see from the weather. I got 1/1 on the horizon. You're not all 1/1, but I presume it's an important renewal for you, or?
It's an important treaty renewal. As our book of business, we are 85% facultative, so we see business through the year. And then obviously 1/1, 1/4s, 1/10s across the year, make it constantly busy for us. So we don't just focus on the 1/1.
That makes sense. And so are the conversations here mostly shaped around negotiations or other things that you're here to achieve in Baden? Or?
I think for us, you go back 5 years, we often had to spend a lot of the sort of 30 minutes you have with each client trying to explain who Africa specialty risks are. We're through that stage now, so we find our conversations now are much more about long-term collaboration. How can we work with different markets? And I think where we've been successful is more markets are now coming to us looking to see how they can work with Africa specialty across the continent. So it's a lot more productive now in terms of working together, collaboration.
That makes a lot of sense. And there's some narratives coming out around also just once the deal is done, everyone obsesses around getting renewals over the line. That's what people are all waiting for their belated Christmas holidays to begin in January. What happens once a deal is done and once you get into that post-placement stage? And I'd be curious, from a FAC point of view, is it different as well? Or?
Yeah, I mean, for us, obviously you can have the potential claim side, but for all of our relationships are around building long-term relationships. So whenever we travel, we want to be able to go to clients' premises, we want to spend time with clients. We work closely with the regulatory authorities in different countries. We try and provide sort of training on different product lines. And again, what we're trying to do is, bring newer products to market and actually work with the local authorities and our partners, trying to provide training and just raising sort of the standards of insurance and insurance knowledge so that we can really ultimately help our clients. So it never stops.
Yeah, no, I can completely understand. That makes a lot of sense. And I'm excited to hear, as we look beyond the end of this year, I guess, what are you excited about for 2026, which is approaching much faster than we can all imagine?
It never slows down, does it? I mean, for us, through our Lloyd syndicate, we're obviously looking to make sure we're in position for 1/1 for that.
Yes.
So we've gone through those approval processes, and now it's the final part of that Lloyd's process. But that's just one part of our business. We've then got our company market stakeholders. So for us, it never stops, and it's about, again, building our capacity so that we can respond further to requests from the market.
Amazing. I'll give you one final question before we wrap up. What are you personally most excited about here in Baden and or beyond?
Baden's about re-engaging with current relationships, building new relationships, planning ahead. It's, those new relationships, it's all very well meeting here, but actually what we like to do is get into territory. We spend a lot of time traveling as underwriters and as a company, and that's how we think it makes a difference, because you really understand local politics, needs, and what we're not trying to do is provide an international solution. We're trying to provide an African solution. So that local knowledge and travel and being in touch with the local clients is what's important for us.
Brilliant. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, Martin. Thank you for joining us and fighting your way here through the rain.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Hopefully see you here soon.
Again. Thank you.